Hello, I'm Ben McGee. I'm the President and CEO of CyberProtect. Live from our studios in Madison, Alabama, I'm your guy, Ben McGee, President and CEO of Cybersecurity. We're excited today to talk to you about continuous monitoring solutions and as it pertains to the CMMC. So we hope you enjoy what we put together for you today. And let's go ahead and get the party started. So we've been getting a lot of questions from many of our customers about what are some of the things that they could do to have an affordable solution to continuously monitor their networks. And what we have done is put together this simple way that people can very quickly go out and figure out what is going to be the most affordable solution for them. What's going to be the best solution for them based off of some of the expertise maybe they have on staff, or maybe something that they outsource to a managed security service provider. And so what we've done is we put together this show for you. So when we talk about the continuously monitoring and being able to do that with the CMMC, it's important first that you understand the CMMC lifecycle. And if you're not familiar with that, then you should probably watch one of our other videos, because we've put together this process that's very similar to the risk management framework. And if you've never seen this before, it really starts with the 6 steps to being able to have what's called good cyber hygiene within the CMMC. So take a look at this video, and if you're not familiar with it, you definitely want to become more familiar with it.
Are you not sure where to begin with becoming CMMC compliant? CyberProtect has put together a CMMC lifecycle for success. This 6-step lifecycle process will help lead you to becoming CMMC compliant. First, begin by performing a gap analysis. This is where you can find out where your deficiencies are and what you need to implement. Next, come up with the mitigation strategy and select controls to become compliant. Probably one of the longest tasks that will take is to implement the controls. This can take anywhere from 6 weeks up to 6 months, depending on the size of the network. After you have implemented your controls, have a third party assess the controls to give you the litmus test. Next, you can seek out a C3PAO for authorization to confirm that you are CMMC compliant. And lastly, practice good cyber hygiene by continuously monitoring. If you follow these steps in this life cycle, you will be closer to becoming CMMC compliant. Contact us today for more details.
All right, so that's a quick view of one of the 6 steps of the CMMC process that we put together to hopefully help you out in your journey for becoming what we're calling good practicing of cyber hygiene. And for us, you know, that last step, if you feel like you've gotten to a point where you feel comfortable with the implementation that you've done, now you're practicing good cyber hygiene. And by doing that, you can continuously monitor. So if you've gotten to that point, you probably have put together some sort of self-assessment, and if not, then you probably would want to do that first. But essentially, cyber governance is a key word that oftentimes in the business you'll hear, where people will go in and constantly evaluate what they currently have as far as assets are concerned, what vulnerabilities or concerns do they have with those assets, and then figure out how those assets align with their current business needs. And then from that, we come up with the ROSI, which is the return on security investment. So if you're going to be buying a continuous monitoring tool, then you definitely want to make sure that you have senior management's buy-in. And many of us have been in the business for a long time, know how important that is for us to get that senior management buy-in. Typically, they're the ones that hold the pocketbook and can approve purchases. So having that is very, very crucial to being able to practice good cyber hygiene. And so with CMMC, we've had the processes and practices that have come to life, and being able to practice good cyber hygiene gets us to a level 3 of compliance, which is a managed process, and we have good cyber hygiene as far as our practices are concerned. So each one of these new areas that have been brought to life really give us an opportunity to make sure that we lock down our network even more so. And it all starts with having that asset inventory. Figuring out what is on your network leads to being able to better monitor and continuously monitor that network. So here at Cyber Protects, we've been doing that since 2012. We are a managed service provider and Microsoft Gold partner. We really have 4 pillars that we have leaned on, including training, where we've certified over 3,000 people all across the United States, software, and security, as well as managed services. We've had many customers come to us to lean on our expertise for various partnerships that we've made, including but not limited to CompTIA, EC Council. If you're interested in training, maybe you're interested in learning more about operating systems with Red Hat, or if you're interested in Amazon Web Services, you can also look into us for your partnership. One of the ones that we're very proud of is our Microsoft Gold partnership, and that's something that we continue to grow, and we look forward to being able to provide you solutions for that.
Are you limited in manpower and want to reduce IT costs? Why not let a Microsoft Gold partner develop your enterprise solution?
Cyber Protects is a Microsoft Gold partner,
And we provide solutions for network, application, infrastructure, and security services, as well as ongoing cybersecurity support for our customers.
visit our website today to find out more about our Microsoft partnership. Got Cyber.
So with network monitoring tools and management tools, it's important that you understand what the landscape is. Typically, what we will lean on in our business is reports from trusted companies. One of those trusted companies that you can go and take a look at is Gartner. If you're not familiar with Gartner, Google it and check it out. Well, Gartner puts together a quadrant chart of leaders in the industry. And this is a Gartner quadrant chart where the top right quadrant is are the leaders in the continuous monitoring business. So if you're unfamiliar with and you're looking for an entry into that business as far as what do I do to continuously monitor my network, you may want to go out and do a little bit of research on who are the leaders in the business. Now, typically, if you're not using open source, it would be a pay-to-play, and many of them throttle their pricing based on how much bandwidth is being pushed through their utilities. So keep that in mind. If you are a high volume with bandwidth and you're looking to monitor everything that you have, then you may be paying a pretty penny to do that if you're already not. So maybe a combination of an open source tool that's doing something for you, or open source tools that are doing something for you, as well as something that can bring it all together, like a security incident and event management tool. But here on the screen, you can see some of the leaders in the business. You can see Splunk is one that is recognized. Another one, Logarithm in the community. IBM makes some great products. Rapid7 are ones that are in the top right quadrant, which is some of the leaders in the business. LogPoint is considered a visionary. If you're not familiar with them, check them out. And then some of the niche players that have the nuanced things like FireEye. FireEye is a good product. that you may want to look into. SolarWinds has been around for a long time, and they are a trusted utility that you could use in a piece of software, and it's got some very robust tool sets inside of it. So if we need to monitor and manage anything that is on our network, there are very many tools that are out there that can do that for us. So in order for us to do that, we need to figure out what is our budget and what are we looking to have those tools provide us. First and foremost, the capability to be able to alert us to incidents that are happening on our network is very, very important. We want to make sure that we can get at a high level the alerts as well as the decomposition at the low level for any type of alerting capability that is provided to us. Now, those alerts can be a number of different ways. We can get them in email fashion, we can get them in text messages, or in any type of other configuration that each product may allow you to do. If you're interested in the Microsoft set, something like Sentinel can be put in to automate and also monitor things like Microsoft Intune or mobile development or mobile device management, an MDM solution, as well as things like SharePoint and Active Directory. So Sentinel is a very robust tool that we'd be more than happy to help give you a demo and show you some good feature functionality of that. One thing to consider, though, is how many alerts does it take to make you have what's called alert fatigue. We've all heard the story of the boy who cried wolf, and too many alerts is similar to that, where if we get too many alerts coming in, then a lot of times we can get what's called fatigue. And what that means is that any technicians that are reviewing those alerts can go in and immediately begin to feel immune to those because they've either researched them in the past or the like. And because of that fatigue, where they've just seen it over and over and over again, sometimes if something similar comes up, they could miss it. And for us being able to have those false positives that are in there, it is important for us to go in and tweak the rule sets that allow us to go in and give those positive identifications for any malicious intent that is happening on our network. So we have a lot of different things that we can do to implement security controls. We can push things out to network components via group policy and have configuration and change management that is closely related to many of the tools that we have on there. Having that security configuration, either it's on host or on the network, we can go in and lock down as well. Making sure that things like access control lists are put into place and managed on network devices, as well as many of the times we put things in our DMZ that we want external partners or customers from the outside of our network to be able to access. So making sure that we have those public-facing resources locked down in a way that still are usable but are also secure, and being able to prove that. Inside of our network, to be able to segment different networks internally into the virtual LANs or VLANs is very, very important. And having those sensors that are put on those VLANs that can monitor any high-level network flows allow us to tweak the alerting that we'd mentioned before that can cause that alert fatigue. So having those custom rules and alert definitions put in place that allows us to really buckle down and stay up on what are the current threats to our landscape are very, very important. So how do we do that? We go in and we perform ongoing research. So you can go out and look at the different threats that are evolving. You can have different feeds that you get on experts in the community that can provide you what we typically will call situational awareness, where we can exercise our own discretion on what needs to be applied to our network to give us the most secure solution that is possible. Speaking of security, and situational awareness, being able to know what our environment is and everything that is on it can allow us to go and figure out what are the latest technologies that we have to add to our arsenal of tools that we use to protect our network, but also can we go out and perform our own research and gather intelligence and be able to have what we call threat intelligence in the business. So having that situational awareness, being able to investigate and collect information and to deduce certain things from happening on our network by going in, identifying current threats, and then figuring out what those mitigations are to those threats. So from that, we come into play with what we call threat monitoring or threat modeling in the business. So anytime we're going in and monitoring, we want to be able to have the situational awareness, and threat modeling comes into play. Microsoft makes a fantastic tool that's free. Usually we don't say that very often, Microsoft and free, but they have the Microsoft Threat Modeling tool that's out there. And from that tool, you can go out and put in different scenarios that allow your infrastructure to be shown what a threat model or threat modeling would be to your infrastructure. So having the attacker's objectives and being able to identify those. Look at the vectors for those attacks and figure out what are the requirements for people to be able to attack those vectors. Getting the targets and figuring out what are the targets that potentially those attackers could go in and try to exploit. Figuring out how can we assess whether or not that's running scanning tools against those targets or having physical access to them. Any way that we can assess those targets and figure out what those vulnerabilities, then we can identify those mitigation techniques to it. So as we're going in and continuously monitoring, continuously trying to improve, we practice good security by having different techniques that we employ to exercise our way to practice network security. And those begin with what we call baselines and benchmarks. So security baseline typically are configurations that we apply to our landscape. So that can be either in a host base or in a network base. And throughout the enterprise, we manage that through change management. In addition to that are benchmarks, and those benchmarks are typically what we refer to as a current state of the system that can be ran through any type of steps or tests that are out there. So how do we measure those? Well, we put those into metrics and we hold them accountable up to configuration baselines. Those baselines have those reference points that we can come back to and check on typically what are called key performance indicators. So those KPIs are very, very important because they measure what is successful for any security event that may come across our wire. We can aggregate data from syslogs or events that happen into a security incident and event management tool and be able to monitor the network as securely as possible. And having that single pane of glass that executives within our organization can either go and view or give reports to that is worth its weight in gold. So keep that in mind. So all in all, these things that we've mentioned today can help you figure out how to monitor your network, identify those vulnerabilities that have been discovered and remediate. You can look at certain things like failed login attempts, what systems are not in compliance, any incidents that maybe you've had in the last month, what time, the response time that you've had for any of those security incidents that we just mentioned. What about a help desk? Do you have a help desk and the time that it took to resolve an event if a help desk call was made? And any unresolved technical issues in a project or a system can also be monitored as well. So any employees that have not completed their security awareness training could also be a key performance indicator that you may want to go and keep track of in your current infrastructure. So all in all, in order for you to be the level 3 good cyber hygiene and practice good cybersecurity, we want to make sure that we have good continuous monitoring and have a robust solution set in place that allows us to go and make sure that we are practicing good cyber hygiene. If you're looking to take your career to the next level, you can join us for our CISSP Bootcamp that's coming up here at the end of September. We additionally have some job announcements and job opportunities. We're hiring a game developer, also a customer support technician, and a cybersecurity analyst. So contact us today if you're interested in any of those positions, or you have anybody who is interested in those positions. In addition to that, we have gotten a lot of contact from these videos that we publish on the EMAS simulator, and we've designed and developed a carbon copy EMAS simulator piece of software that we'd love to give you a test drive and show you a demonstration. So let us know if that's something that is in your wheelhouse. In addition to that, like I said, we have an upcoming CISSP boot camp, and because football starts today, we thought that this ad may be apropos to you.
Are you limited in manpower and want to reduce IT costs? Why not let a Microsoft Gold partner develop your enterprise solution? CyberProtect is a Microsoft Gold partner, and we provide solutions for network, application, infrastructure, and security services, as well as ongoing cybersecurity support for our customers. Visit our website today to find out more about our Microsoft partnership. Got Cyber.
We hope you enjoyed our YouTube live broadcast today. Join us next time for more information on how to secure your network and how to become compliant with the new